Hey guys, welcome to Stationeers. Today we are on a creative build and we're going to work on automatic arc furnaces. So to start, we'll place down our computer. Build that up. Going to need the logic motherboard. Going to need an integrated circuit housing. We're going to need a way to power everything. Let's just wire these up for the moment. Going to need an IC10. I grabbed the wrong motherboard. We need the programming motherboard. So we want to declare some aliases. So we'll go arc furnace 1. D0 alias arc furnace 2. D1 alias arc furnace 3. D2 alias arc furnace 4. D3 alias arc 5. 4. And finally alias arc furnace 6 on D5. We also want to add another alias for the way that I run this code. So alias arc furnace, let's name it D0. Let's start a start loop. On our start loop, we want to make sure that the alias that we are checking is set. So if we go into function, we want this one, the BDCAL. Jump execution to line A and store next line number devices set. So BDCAL, we want to check if arc furnace 1 is set. And then we want to we want to jump to a function called set furnace 1. So if arc furnace 1 is set, it's going to jump to this function, store the line 11 into RA, and it will jump back to line 11 once we can continue to complete everything. But if it's not set, it will just jump to the next line. So we want to do this for all of them. BDSEAL, arc furnace 2, set furnace 2. So what this is doing is it's setting up a failsafe, sort of. So we can, if we want to start our logic and only have one arc furnace, we can do that. We can do it with 2, we can do it with 3, 4, 5, 6. So arc furnace 3, set furnace 3. BDSEAL, arc furnace 4, set furnace 4. BDSEAL, arc furnace 5, set furnace 5. Oh, we've got an error here for there we go. Set furnace 5, BDSEAL, arc furnace 6, set furnace 6. So from here we sort of want to think about how we're going to do everything. So we'll start with the first function, set function, set furnace 1. And if it's set, all we want to do is set the alias for arc furnace to D0. Jump back to that line. We also want to set a function if it's set to start the arc furnace. So we'll call that activate furnace. So we need some aliases to set for the furnace, what we need to check. So we want to check if it is active, R0. We want to check if the import is occupied. We want to check if the export is occupied. And we want to check a condition. So we're gonna start by making sure that the arc furnace is on. Set that to 1. We want to load into active. Oh, I'm gonna have to change that. Oh no, I don't. Is active. We want to check the arc furnace is the activate mode. We want to load the import occupied. Arc furnace. Oh no, we want to load slot. Load slot, import occupied. We want to check the import slot, so that's slot 0. Oh, no, arc furnace first. Arc furnace, slot 0 occupied. Then we want to check the export occupied. Arc furnace, slot 1 occupied. If it is already active, we want to jump. So that branch, so it's BEQZ, BEQ, sorry, and we want to check if active set to 1. If it's set to 1, then we just want to return to RA. Then if we want to check if import occupied is greater than export occupied. So we want SNE into condition. Oh, that's double T. Import occupied, export occupied. Then we want to activate based on that condition. So we want to store into arc furnace the activate mode. And then we want to activate with condition. So what this code is doing was making sure the arc furnace is on. We're reading if it is already in activate mode. We're checking if the import occupied slot is occupied or not, and we're checking if the export occupied slot is occupied or not. If the arc furnace is already active, we don't need to do anything. So we're just going to jump and return back to the set function. But if activate is not 0, then we're going to check if import is not equal to export. If it's not equal to export, that means either this one is 1 or this is 1. We can even change that to greater than to make sure that import occupied is always greater than export before we activate. SGT. So if the import occupied is greater than the export occupied, it will activate on this condition, but if it's not, then activate will be 0. And we jump back to the set function. So what we need in the set function is we need a way to jump back, because we're using BDSEAL here, which stores an array, and then we're going to jump from this line to activate furnace, which also will be an array function. So we want to find a way where we can jump from here to here and down to here. So we want to push array into a stack. So if we push array to in a stack is always held like this. So we got 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. We've got up to 15 in a stack. So when we push something, our line number will be 15. But if we push something else, 15 will move to here, and this will be, say, 20. So what we want to do after we push, we want to do a function. So we want to JAL, we want to jump with branch RA, and we want to push that to our arc furnace, activate furnace. Then once we're done, we want to pop back out our RA, so we can return. And then we want to jump RA. Oh, I've got a typo there. So this activate furnace function is going to work with each one of our furnaces. We're just going to make separate set furnace functions to set the alias arc furnace to whatever we need. So our next one will be set furnace 2, then alias arc furnace D1. We want to push array. We want to jump to activate the furnace. We want to push back out of array. Then we want to jump array. Oh, we want to pop, sorry, here. We want to set arc furnace 2. 3, sorry. Alias arc furnace D2. Push array. Activate furnace. Pop array. Do we want to jump back? Alright. Set arc furnace 4. Set the alias of arc furnace. Set that to D3. Push array. Jump to activate furnace. pop RA, and then jump back to RA. Set arc furnace 5, alias arc furnace, set that to D4, push RA, jump to our arc activate function, pop RA, and then jump back RA. Then set arc furnace 6, alias arc furnace D5, push back into RA, jump to our activate furnace function, pop RA, we want to jump RA. So this should be setting each of our furnaces, and then jumping into the activate function. But we're storing an arc furnace, so we don't have to copy this code all the time. Save on line numbers. So we'll just make sure there's no typos with these, see if we can get them to all change to purple. Okay, we've got a problem with arc furnace 3. Because it's furnace 3. 4. Okay, I'm guessing the rest of them have a problem. 5. 6. So here we're checking to see if the arc furnace screw is set. If it's not set on device 0, then it will jump to check if device 2 is set. If this is set, then it will jump down to the set furnace 2. It will change the alias of arc furnace to D1. It will push RA, so this line number +1, so it'd be line 17, store that into RA, and that will push it to the stack. We're going to jump to arc furnace, storing this line number +1 into RA. Then we'll jump to the activate furnace function. We'll make sure it's set to on. We'll check if it is active. If the furnace, we're going to load the slot of the input occupied to make sure that the arc furnace input slot is occupied. Then we'll check to see if the export slot is occupied. Then we're going to check if we are already active. If we're already active, there's no point of trying to set activate again. So it's just going to jump back to RA. If that is true, then we're going to jump back up to set furnace 2. Then we're going to pop RA down, and then we're going to jump back up to this line here. But if this is false, we're going to check if the import occupied is greater than the export slot. And if that is true, we're going to activate the furnace. If it is false, it's going to keep activate at 0. Then it's going to jump back to set furnace 2. Then we're going to pop RA again, and then we're going to jump back to the RA function, and then we will come back up to line 17 again. So if we confirm and export this, oh, I forgot one part of the code. After our start function, after we check all the devices, we want to JStart to keep it in the loop. Confirm, export, and now we should have no errors. So we can start by getting an arc furnace down. Get 2 down. We will label these. We'll name this arc furnace 1. This one arc furnace 2. We will set down some heavy cables. We'll pull out our screwdriver. And we'll set arc furnace 2 first. And we won't set arc furnace 1 to show that we don't need every device set. So we'll set screw number 2. Turn that off. Oh, we forgot to hook up this network. We'll set the second screw to arc furnace 2. We'll turn that back on. So this device is set. As you can tell, it will keep flicking that back on. We'll spawn in some ore. Iron. F9. If we chuck that in there, nothing happens to prove that it's not set. And then we'll chuck one in there. And there we go, we started smelting. But if we decide to set arc furnace 1, we can screw arc furnace 1. Now if we spawn another set of iron in, we can place that into the arc furnace. And now we have a redundant arc furnace code that we can set and use just for 1 arc furnaces or 6 arc furnaces. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something from this. And thanks for watching.